What if the people who betrayed you were the same people you later had the power to destroy? Genesis 37, verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, and he made him an ornate robe for him. Long ago, in the land of Canaan, lived a young man named Joseph. He was the son of Jacob, a patriarch whose family would one day become the nation of Israel. But among all of Jacob's sons, Joseph was different. He was the son born in Jacob's old age, and Jacob loved him more than the others. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a special gift, a beautiful robe, brightly colored, richly woven, unlike anything his brothers owned. To Jacob, it was a sign of love, but to his brothers, it was a symbol of favoritism, and jealousy began to grow. Genesis 37, verse 7. Your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. One night, Joseph had a dream. In the dream, he and his brothers were binding bundles of grain in a field. Suddenly, the bundles belonging to his brothers bowed down before Joseph's bundle. Joseph told them the dream, but instead of being amazed, they were furious. Do you really think you will rule over us? Soon Joseph had another dream. This time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to Joseph. When Joseph told his family, even his father was troubled. Yet Jacob quietly wondered what it might mean. But Joseph's brothers only felt one thing: hatred. Genesis 37, verse 18. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending sheep far from home. As Joseph approached them across the fields, his colorful robe was visible from a distance. And when the brothers saw him, their anger reached its breaking point. Here comes that dreamer. They began to plan, let's kill him. But Reuben, the oldest brother, intervened. Instead, they threw Joseph into an empty pit. Joseph cried out for mercy, but his brothers ignored him. Then something unexpected appeared on the horizon, a caravan of traders heading toward Egypt, and suddenly they had another idea. Genesis 37, verse 28. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up and sold him for 20 shekels of silver. Instead of killing Joseph, the brothers chose something else. They sold him for 20 pieces of silver. Joseph was pulled from the pit, bound, and handed over to the traders. As the caravan moved toward Egypt, Joseph looked back at his brothers, but none of them stopped the sale. None of them showed mercy. To cover their crime, they dipped Joseph's robe in goat's blood. Then they brought it to their father. Jacob believed his son had been killed by a wild animal, and his heart was shattered. Genesis 39, verse 2. The Lord was with Joseph, so that he prospered. Joseph arrived in Egypt as a slave. He was sold to a powerful Egyptian officer named Potiphar. Yet even in slavery, Joseph prospered. Potiphar saw that everything Joseph touched succeeded. Soon Joseph was placed in charge of the entire household. But Joseph's troubles were not over. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of a terrible crime. Joseph was arrested and thrown into prison, but even there, God had not abandoned him. Genesis 41, verse 15. I had a dream, and no one can interpret it. Years later, the ruler of Egypt had troubling dreams. 7 fat cows, 7 thin cows, 7 healthy heads of grain, 7 withered ones. No one could explain their meaning. But someone remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought from prison. Standing before Pharaoh, he revealed the meaning.
7 years of abundance were coming, followed by 7 years of famine. Pharaoh was amazed, and Joseph, once a slave, was made the ruler over Egypt. Genesis 42, verse 6. Now Joseph was the governor of the land. Years passed, the famine came, and it spread across the world. Even Joseph's family in Canaan was starving. So Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to buy food. When they arrived, they stood before the governor of Egypt. They bowed down before him, but they did not recognize the man sitting on the throne, Joseph, the brother they had betrayed. And suddenly, Joseph remembered his dreams. Genesis 45, verse 4. I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. Finally, Joseph could hold back no longer. He sent everyone out of the room. Only his brothers remained. Then Joseph began to weep, and he spoke words they never expected to hear. I am Joseph, their brother, the one they had sold into slavery. Fear filled the room, but Joseph did something remarkable. He forgave them. What they had meant for evil, God had used for good. Joseph saved their entire family, and the family was reunited. Joseph's story is one of the most powerful stories in the Bible. It begins with jealousy, betrayal, and suffering, but it ends with forgiveness. Joseph could have taken revenge. Instead, he chose mercy, and his choice saved an entire family. But Joseph's story leaves us with a question every one of us must answer. When someone hurts us, will we choose revenge or forgiveness? Because sometimes the hardest choice is the one that changes everything.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more animated Bible mysteries every week.